What is going on, guys? I am here in a mostly empty airport waiting to go home, and it's Monday morning. Some of you guys are probably going to work, some of you guys are probably not, but yeah, it's early morning Monday, and I'm going back to Orlando, and Gen Con is all done officially for me now. Kind of hung out last night. What's going on, Mr. Greyjoy? We got to play a little bit of Keyforge last night. The Keyforge, I had learned like third party from somebody else, and we had gotten some things critically wrong, so I was very like, this is okay. But some of the developers were at the Marriott, and so we got to talk to them about it a little bit, and so that was fun. And so kind of got, I think, most of the kinks worked out, and Keyforge actually seems pretty cool. I gotta play it a few more times, but I think it'll be a fun game. I don't know if it's gonna be like the Magic Killer or something like that. I think it's gonna be something totally different. Like, I don't think it's gonna take the place of any game. I did not get to judge the Armada tourney. I was judging a Legion tournament that was right next to an Armada tournament. And so I was kind of walking over, and I'd come check things out a little bit. So somebody might have seen me with a judge uniform on right next to the Armada tournament, but I was not, I did not have jurisdiction over that. But it was, that was cool. I got a little bit of there's a little bit of video in of that final match in my last video as well. Okay, so you guys, so it's funny, I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, the SSD can't turn. The SSD can't turn. That's a good question. Just because the SSD has no turn values doesn't mean it can't turn. It can turn just like the Victory can. Use a nav command, right? Or if you have Jerjerrod, you could probably do that. That would be insane though, because as big as that is, you would probably go off the board. So my advice to you is just, first off, it doesn't need to turn, but just do a nav command and get yourself an extra click. It's as simple as that. Let's talk about Piet, right? Like, I don't know if maybe we're reading it wrong. I can't wait for the full spoiler for Piet. Put that SSD in your bag. Yeah. Well, the tool should go in the front, just like it does for any other ship. I mean, it's two large bases, so that means that the bases... there might be something else you put it in the middle base. No, we don't know anything about the SSDs that don't fit into the 400-point game. Other than that, they're going to presumably be more than 400 points. In theory, one might be 390, and that's your Admiral would require you to go beyond, but I'm hoping for like, you know, like 450 and like 650 or something obscene, because I like to play big games of Armada, and the cool thing about a Superstar Destroyer is that'll help a big game of Armada play a lot quicker, because you won't have as many activations. So that much is cool. But I just don't get Piet. Like, you get to exhaust him once during your turn to let one token be the only command a ship does, of, you know, like, and it counts as a dial. It's just, I don't know how much I like that. It seems like an interdictor is the best way to do it, but, or one of the best ways to do it. I don't know. I am not a super big fan of that, but, or maybe Yavaris with like concentrate fire out the front arc and squadron command. Based on what I have seen, who would be best for the SSD? Well, there's a lot of unknowns still. First off, we don't know what all comes in the SSD and how you're going to outfit it. But, whoops, sorry. I mean, Mahdi might be really cool for the SSD, but that might be overkill. But we have to see how much health Mahdi gives the SSD. My guess is 4, but it might be more than that. Yeah, have I pre-ordered mine yet? I'm not going to pre-order one. I don't pre-order stuff usually. Sometimes I do, But I'm also holding out hope that maybe I'll get a review copy. So that much is nice. I like the, you know, I might be able to swing it. Hopefully, I talked to enough FFG people at Gen Con and made enough of a good impression that I'll be remembered a little bit more. Because some of them actually knew who I was, so I was really impressed. That made my day. So that was cool. But it was crazy. An SSD with spinal armament. Yeah. Or enhanced armament, that'd be the front left and right arc. So it looks like the front left and right are the left and right, and the back left and right are the left and right auxiliary. So funny thing about Gen Con. Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of funny. I have some more video of that because I had 2 cameras set up for the in-flight report. It shows me like get up and run, like, and it was kind of hilarious. And I think I got better audio of the answer because their answer was kind of clouded on most of the people's audio feeds. So hopefully we'll get some. But a lot of this is stuff I just have to do when I get home. I have to go through, and I got a lot more video I need to go through. I'm definitely a child in an adult body. So Gen Con is like an expensive con to go to. I think a 4-day pass is somewhere around $200. And once you get here, everything is very expensive. The restaurants and the airport and everything is, you know, there's a lot of, I mean, granted that comes with traveling, right? But the con itself, like every game you want to play costs money. People playing Werewolf on the hallway, even just regular Werewolf costs money. I don't get that, and I don't like that, and it's just not something I'm used to, and so I didn't play any games. I mean, I played Keyforge with my friend, like at our table when we were having a drink or something, but I didn't like play like any games with people at Gen Con, like, and who, you know, you don't think of, oh, I'm going to Gen Con, I'm not going to play any games, you know. That's weird, you know, but that's what it was. I think Fantasy Flight made Gen Con great because of the announcements and the early release stuff. I got my X-Wing 2.0 stuff. I got my Legion. I got Han and the Rebel Commandos. They wish they would have had Boba. But yeah. Out of what I the problem is I didn't really preview much. I did get to preview Battlestar Galactica, though, because I had scheduled that in advance. But I wanted to try and demo more stuff and look at more stuff. There was some, in my live feed yesterday, Monolith had some cool stuff. The Batman Kickstarter minis look freaking insane. That one looks cool. Monster Apocalypse actually looks really cool, and so I wish I could have demoed that because I hope the gameplay is there. It looks good enough that if the gameplay is at least solid, I'd be happy. Giant Killer Robots, Heavy Hitters, is one of those games I have that I actually kind of like. They have an expansion out. All it is 2 more factions, basically 2 more mechs. It's $120 for that expansion. I'm like, no, it doesn't even up the player limit. Yeah, you have to swap them in for your other stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that was like, this is weird, but it looks really cool. Do I think the Starhawk? I think you mean you said Starwalk, but I think you mean Starhawk. I hope the Starhawk comes. But yeah, whoops. Let's see, what did we get? All messages are visible. There we go. Did I get to eat any fancy food? Okay, that's a good question. So I've been telling people I've been on this keto diet where it's like no carbs or anything like that, and I totally broke that while I was out here. And they had food trucks lined up outside, so it might not be super fancy, but there was a macaroni and cheese food truck that had bacon and breadcrumbs in it, and I had some of that, and I had like a cupcake in a cup and this giant milkshake at TGI Fridays, and so I had a couple of, and a lot of that was just to help me sleep because it was a little noisy in our room. I was rooming with 3 other guys, and people would come in at all different hours of the night, and it was hard to stay asleep. So the extra carbs like zonked me out. So, but I figured, no. We're back. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. My alarm went off because this is the normal time for me to normally get up. But yeah, it was nice. I figured if I was gonna break my diet for something weird, or if I was going to break my diet, it was going to be for something that I couldn't get back home. Am I glad I went? Yeah, I got some promos to give out, which will be fun. For lots of different games too, even stuff that I don't play anymore. But that's kind of cool. You know, and I got judging the Legion tournament was kind of cool because there were a lot of people who were very familiar with the game, and there wasn't a whole lot of like judging to do because it was a 2 versus 2 tournament, so it was much more of a casual, friendly event. Well, also it was quiet in there compared to the exhibitor hall, which was just chaos. So I actually got to like just talk normally instead of having to shout over the masses. But also there were a lot of just regular questions, and you were helping people learn the game too. So it's always nice. Like I really love these games, so I'm very happy to teach. It's just hard sometimes to is Armada dying? No, Armada is not dying at all. It's just got a slower release schedule than the other games. It's just slower. And there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, I am into Harry Potter. I'm not like super crazy on Harry Potter, but we're actually reading the books to my boys right now. And every time we finish a book, they will watch the movie. So that's you know, so that's cool. I will say this about Armada: if you guys are interested at all in X-Wing and Legion, when those Clone Wars factions come out, pick some up, because I am pretty sure, and I'm not saying this definitively, but this stands to reason. Since they didn't announce Clone Wars for Armada yet, I have a feeling that Clone Wars in Legion and X-Wing is like a test bed for the Clone Wars IP. If those don't sell well, then obviously it's not going to come to Armada. But if they sell really well, then naturally that will end up finding its way into Armada. So you know, that's one of those things where, and the same thing goes, I think, for Legion with getting Clone Wars factions to begin with. If the game would have launched and wouldn't have done well, and Legion's doing very well, if it wouldn't have launched and done well, then they wouldn't be investing all this, oh, we need to come up with even more factions at this point. You know, so it's, you know, the initial sales of one thing can trigger the development and testing and manufacturing of something else. I'll let you know. I'll let you know, Mr. Greyjoy. But all right, let's see. Where's the Rebels Armada expansion? There may not be one. There may be stuff in here that works very well with the Rebels, though. You know, there's still a lot to happen. But then again, you have to think about one thing. The Rebels have always had one more ship than the Empire does. And considering they are coming out with a $200 expansion, I think some people have to think, would you rather just get one more regular, like one more small ship for each faction, or would you rather have the Super Star Destroyer? I think I'd rather have the Super Star Destroyer. But yes, it would be nice to have Rebels have something similar, but that may not be the case. I mean, I can't wait to take up a Rebel fleet against a Super Star Destroyer, or even do an Imperial SSD versus SSD. I think that would be a lot of fun. I can't imagine. I wonder if you do a high enough points game, if you could fit 2 SSDs in one list. That makes me kind of interested as well. So yeah, let's see what else is there to talk about. Got to see my pals at the Broken Token, so it was good to see them there. That's always a great. I don't know anybody who's really getting out of the game because of an SSD. I mean, just simply, I would wager that those people were probably not really that much into the game anyway. Because here's the thing: even if there was no SSD, even if there was no announcement, even if there was nothing coming, I would still play the game. I would just be a little bummed, but I wouldn't be getting out of the game. Even if they discontinued the game, I wouldn't be getting out of the game. So I think sometimes people who are already annoyed or angry or whatever will just say something like that to be like, all right, well, fine. Since they've done this, I'm giving up Destiny. You know, like, well, I don't play Destiny anymore anyway. So, you know, like, if you just wanted to, like, drive a point home, then maybe. And it could be that those people just wanted something else from the game. So, oh, I wanted to check out like Table of Ultimate Gaming, and I wanted to check some of that stuff out too, and didn't get a chance to. There's so much going on. They actually had Lucas Oil Stadium open as well. I didn't even get to go there at all. I mean, I was out front, but I didn't get to go check any of it out. There was so much going on that I did not get to check out. It was wild. I was so tired at the end of each day. I just went back and kind of crashed. So yeah, this was exhausting. Oh. Yeah, well, you in theory you can bring an SSD to a tournament. I mean, it's going to be hard to transport though. This is going to be the first one that I actually might have to save the box for. You know, here's another thing that I think is interesting. Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk X-Wing. Let's talk X-Wing. So they announced Resistance and, you know, and First Order conversion kits, and like, oh, and here's the next wave of X-Wing 2.0, and it's the RZ-2 A-Wing, which we knew was going to come, but then the Mining Guild tie. That one is interesting because the Mining Guild is not First Order, they're scum, so there's nothing coming for First Order. And I have a feeling this is going to be one of those waves where they add something later on, but it makes me think, what could they add? Because in theory, we're supposed to see Resistance, the show, is, I believe, supposed to be coming on in October. So if it does actually come back in October, we'll be in a good spot, because I can't wait to, you know, see more. And I'd like to see more First Order vehicles. From what I've heard, also, Resistance is going to be more ship battle oriented, so more space oriented, which sounds very, very good for games like X-Wing and Armada. Anti-fighter flotilla. I think, whoops. I think if they do the Dornian gunship, it won't be an anti-fighter. It'll be more of a you know, a multiple dice gunship. You know, for anti-capital ships. Have I seen the premise for the first episode? I mean, just a little bit about like the main character and gets recruited, but I do expect it to be a little bit more oriented on fighter combat. Yep. So we are going to go ahead and wind down in a little bit, but I just wanted to do a quick little video and talk about Gen Con. It was fun. It was also exhausting. I met a lot of people. Gosh, I ran into the Johto cast, so that was kind of cool. Let's see who else. Team Covenant. I got to look at them. You hate the trilogy. What trilogy do you hate? Because you've only seen 2 trilogies, right? You've seen the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. You haven't seen the sequel trilogy yet because it's not out. Nobody's seen it. They haven't even made it yet. Enjoy your day. Yeah, I'm gonna try. You haven't seen it all yet. See the last one before you make up your mind. The last one might fix everything for you, or maybe not. And I feel bad if you hate it because I really enjoy it. I'm just glad to have new Star Wars. My biggest complaint right now is that the whole thing takes place in the course of like 48 hours. You know, like I want there to be more time elapsed. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign out, guys. Gen Con was awesome. I've got a lot of unpacking to do. Oh, look for X-Wing videos for all of the new 2.0 stuff. I'll be trying to do those over the course of next week. Problem we're gonna run into is I had to unbox everything already, so I'm not gonna be doing unboxings. What I'll try to do is just a review and comparison, because what I'll do is I'll compare like the TIE Fighter expansion to the TIE Fighter from X-Wing 1.0. Compare the X-Wing to X-Wing, the Slave 1 to Slave 1, all of those things. I'll be running those. So so I know when Solo and others hit stores like the Blu-ray. I don't. It's this month. But yeah, so I'll be doing comparisons. They've already been unboxed, but we'll just go ahead and look at the components and stuff. And some of them are great, like the Y-Wing looks different. The Fang Fighter moves. I'm pretty sure the Fire Spray is a new paint job, you know. So a lot of stuff like that, and hopefully nothing gets broken. I had to fit everything in my new stuff. No Legion units. Oh, yeah, they're supposed to hit in a few weeks. The end of this month, I think, which means their Scout Troopers and Boba will probably be the end of next month. So, yeah, that will be fun. That will be fun. Now I am going to try to, you know, like my next Legion battle report. Hopefully that will be using like maybe Solo or Rebel Saboteurs or something like that, or Rebel Commandos. But it'll be kind of tricky because, well, we don't have the Empire to go against, so we don't get to see, you know, sniper versus sniper or something. So might not be fair if we do Empire. But all right, guys, I am gonna go ahead and sign out. I will see you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and all that good stuff. You guys already know all that. It's too early. Bye.